All right, thank you for your patience and welcome to those of you who are just joining us tonight. Tonight, 12 master students in UNT's Interaction Design program will present research, findings, and storyboards that help envision the legacy of Astro-1 by making the invisible visible. We would like to give a special shout out to our fantastic professors, Brian Sullivan and Cassini Nazir, for making this project possible and bringing out the best in each of us. On our journey this evening, we will first explore NASA's Astro-1 mission to understand its purpose and its discoveries. Next, we will dive into the research, where we learned more about the museum experience and empathize with museum visitors. Third, we will help you imagine an Astro-1 exhibit through our various storyboards. And lastly, we have included an appendix of research and resources at the end of this presentation for your viewing pleasure. We will make a copy of this presentation available to you. Let's begin by retracing our steps years before the launch of Astro-1. NASA has inspired Americans' curiosity since its foundation in 1958. With over 200 deployments into space, the desire to explore excited the nation to look up and wonder what else is out there. But tragedy struck on January 28, 1986, when the Challenger exploded during launch. Millions witnessed this event. Our perspective on space exploration changed from wonder and awe to danger and hesitation. As the next scheduled mission to launch into outer space after the Challenger, Astro-1 felt the weight of these changes. And it had to succeed. The Astro Observatory was developed as a system of telescopes consisting of 3 ultraviolet telescopes and 1 X-ray telescope. By taking simultaneous observations, it was able to look farther into space than ever before and gave the world a reason to dream again. And the mission was a success. By making the impossible a reality, Astro-1 allowed us to look into the past and witness celestial phenomenon that helped us understand the universe more deeply. It allowed us to see the universe in greater detail. First, an image from the far region of outer space was captured. Then the image was magnified to collect UV and X-ray wavelengths. It was then magnified again to reveal the incredible birth of a star. Astro-1 was the first space mission solely devoted to astrophysics. Now, these images that you see on your screen might look a little pixelated by 2020 standards. So it's important to keep in mind that technology has come a very long way. We were limited to our technological advances at the time, but telescopes after Astro-1 can provide greater resolution images. Now, Obidi will tell us more about the mission.
Thank you, Brittany. The telescopes built for Astro-1 and the ultimate success of the mission laid the foundation for deeper exploration into our galaxy and beyond. Thanks to Astro-1, the universe became alive. With its system of telescopes, Astro-1 had larger ambitions in the content it wanted to obtain. Even though it only captured 67% of its intended target, its pioneering technology opened the sky by collecting UV and X-rays to reveal mysteries that were once unobtainable. Before talking about the electromagnetic spectrum, first I need to mention light. Light is very unique because it can function as both a particle and a wave. And the wavelength of light, or the length of light's wavelength, determines its energy. Longer wavelengths is less energy and shorter is more energy. Measuring the wavelength of light can determine the distance of objects, and by analyzing light emitted from atoms, we can determine what objects are made out of. So when we look at the electromagnetic spectrum, we see it is divided into 7 sections: radio, microwave, infrared, visible lights, ultraviolet, X-ray, and gamma. Astro-1 focused solely on UV and X-ray, revealing how the universe formed and the composition of distant celestial objects. 3 telescopes focused on collecting UV light, and 1 telescope collected X-rays. The following images were captured by these telescopes, which revealed interstellar medium, dark matter, intergalactic medium, and the supernova remnants. As we explore the universe outside our visual realm, we're able to go further than we ever expected to go. Images like this can't be captured on Earth because there's far too much interference. They can only be captured from beyond our atmosphere. Before great observatories such as Hubble uncovered vast amounts of the galaxy, Astro-1's mission showed us what was possible. Now we look up again in awe with the James Webb Telescope. We also had the pleasure of interviewing NASA engineers who shared insights into Astro-1's mission. This allowed us to tell the story from the eyes of the people who were actually part of the mission. Mike Haddad explained how Astro-1 set the foundation for UV telescope research. Maynette Smith expanded on the masterpiece of engineering involved. Elaine Hamner talked about the importance of testing equipment while still on Earth. And Richard Hamner gave us insight about how our understanding about space is ever changing. Next, here we'll talk about the museum experience we plan to create.
Thank you, BD. So our main goal was to create an innovative and engaging experience that tells the story of Astro-1. Our storyboards, which are our final deliverables, will explore and engage the human senses, innovate by harnessing old and new technology, and lastly, advance by creating an exhibit that sparks curiosity. So this image reflects our design process. We moved through the research and discovery phase via quantifiable iterations. After finalizing our research question, we gathered insights through primary and secondary research. Our first-hand research involved site visits, in-depth interviews, as well as co-creation activities. Then finally, moving into a refined envisioning state, we tested our big ideas with key stakeholders in the form of storyboards. So while detailing our project outline, we focused on understanding how the data we would collect would benefit future missions and inform the creation of more advanced telescopes, creating an innovative and tangible museum experience, and lastly, expanding beyond the experience of just science museums into art museums. Of course, not all projects have smooth sailing. Our project had limitations as well, which included the inability to visit Smithsonian to situate the project into greater context to add perspective to it. And a site visit would have informed our perception about the museum environment. Also, understanding the physical size of the telescopes in relation to the installation area would have been extremely helpful. Now, Kel will talk more about our research on museums. Thank you.
Thank you, Hira. Our team conducted both primary and secondary research about the motivations of museum visitors. We found that museum going is a complex and deeply personal experience that is connected to our individual sense of identity. Dr. Jean Falk is an expert in making museum experiences memorable. To help deepen our understanding of museum visitors, we took into consideration Dr. Falk's research on understanding museum visitors' motivations and identities. Using his research, we found that memorable museum visits are impacted by 4 factors. If the exhibit supports a visitor's entry needs and interests, if it contains high emotional content for the visitor, if it is supported by a later experience, and if it is novel. We didn't stop there. We also conducted primary research by visiting local art and science museums to further our understanding of the museum experience. Sites included the Frontiers of Flight Museum, the Fort Worth Museum of Science and History, and the Perot. This allowed us to track the visitor's journey and brainstorm potential opportunities that will foster a memorable museum visit. When we visited 3 science museums, we found that navigation, information displays, and the level of interaction were the biggest themes visitors brought up when evaluating their experience. We also observed that people frequently interact with the exhibits. Science exhibits encourage experimentations with high levels of interaction. People really want to learn something new, and science looks to answer questions visitors might have. Science museums are a place where people no longer in school can have a science experience. They can touch things, see things, and explore things they can't at home. They are spaces where both kids and adults can further their understanding of science in a safe and highly interactive way. We also visited 3 different art museums. We found a general lack of navigation, information displays, and levels of interaction. We also found that people scan the art from a distance. They look for meaning in each individual piece of art. They step back to look for themes of the entire art collection. And art exhibits ask us questions about life, culture, and society. An art museum is a spiritual place. People lower their voices when they get close to the art. They are places of meditation, which fosters a connection between people and deeper meanings. When compared side by side, science museums and art museums seem different, but art and science museums have a natural relationship. Dr. Falk describes 10 things that all museums have in common. As we started to think about the Astro-1 experience, we targeted 3 factors from Dr. Falk's museum experience model. Number 1, exhibits. What it involves, where it goes, what comes before, and so on. Number 8, the interactive nature of the experience. How do people experience and experiment with the exhibit? And finally, number 10, feelings and emotions. Which feelings and emotions are important at various points in the exhibit? There is a natural interest in not only kids, but also adults to be connected with the stars and with the universe. Jennifer from the Fort Worth Science Museum tells us that kids are infatuated with science, with space, but most are in the dirt looking down. How can we instead get them looking up at the stars? She goes on to say, working in a science museum, I realized how much childhood experiences or later experiences can affect someone's thoughts about science. Mia will now talk about our user persona research.
Thank you, Cal. While conducting our research to understand museum visitors, we explored 6 existing research articles. Here are some of our top resources. First, we have Bonnie Pittman's Ignite the Power of Art, which gives a basic framework for engagement at our museums. Then we have Dr. John Falk's research, as Cal mentioned, focuses on understanding museum visitors' motivations. Then the last 2 articles focus on the museum science at Boston and Smithsonian museums. From these academic sources, we synthesize the different types of museum visitors, which are shown here, as well as 20+ in-depth interviews that we have conducted. This synthesis led us to a creation of 6 unique personas for the Astro-1 exhibition, which you can see in red. Personas are fictional characters based on research that represents the different types of user of a product or service. Personas help designers to understand various users or visitors' needs, motivations, behaviors, and goals. Let's meet our personas for the Astro-1 museum experience. Again, creating personas help us to design experiences tailored to a diverse audiences. You might have seen them in the museums already. Independent explorers are solo museum goers who rush to things that gravitate towards their interest. Motivated facilitators are with their social group, for example, the grandma with her grandkids looking to make a meaningful memory. The purposeful recharger wants to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city and have a moment of introspection. Purposeful rechargers experience seekers want to cross things off their bucket list and share them on social media. Enthusiastic learners get super excited about science and astronomy because it's their passion or their profession. And lastly, we have the doubtful disruptor. They are, for example, the reluctant teenager who got dragged to the museum with their family. They don't want to be there, and they're sometimes skeptical of the exhibit narrative. Which one are you? Feel free to comment in the Zoom chat window. If you found yourself to be a mix of different personas depending on situation, that's totally normal. Based on our research, not a single user belongs to the same persona with the same motivation and needs at all time. We developed important details to understand when designing for each of these 6 unique personas. Let's take a closer look. This is a spectrum system that we created to uncover key insights on the specific needs that a persona might have under different circumstances. It is outlined in 2 pages. The first page is on the left, which we have the persona spectrum supersets. It's the 6 personas I mentioned before. In this case, we have the independent explorer. Then here we have design drivers and pain points that apply to the entire persona supersets. Now we have highlights of subsets of how our persona supersets behaves differently depending on the situation. For example, visiting alone versus with family, as a tourist or as a local. They all have different motivations and needs while still fitting under the same superset. Second page, we have additional details that show the spectrum of behavioral variables marked by validated or implicated data points, helpful instructions when designing for the persona, and a visualization of spectrum to help understand the unique factors of this persona. Along with personas, designers create journey maps that describe the stages of an experience. The journey of a museum visit has 3 high-level stages: entry, entering the museum; exhibit, touring the exhibition; and finally exit, leaving the museum. If we combine a journey map with our persona, we can better understand how each persona might make their way through each main stages of the experience. When a visitor enters the museum, we see that there are factors that we need to think through. Here, we have a superset of motivated facilitators need to make sure that her grandkids would enjoy the exhibit before choosing a museum to go. She wants to get senior discount of her visits, and she also wants to get a reduced rate for her grandkids. During the exhibit stage, the main stage of the journey, visitors first need to orient themselves, find their way to the particular exhibits, and when they successfully done that, they may enter the exhibition, enjoy the experience. Here, a purposeful recharger needs to get through these 2 stages as painfully, peacefully as possible to have a restorative experience of being at a museum. They tend to visit at low times to avoid crowd, and they like to take their time at each installation. During the final stages of their journey, exiting the exhibit, visitors make their way to exit the exhibition and share their experience with the social group, either in person or online. Our experience seekers persona wants a memorable and impressive museum visit that they can share with their social group, especially on their social media. How each persona experiences these stages is different and idiosyncratic. The storyboards we will show are aimed at making it enjoyable, informative, and memorable experience for all visitors. We are able to gain these insights through our co-creation activities, which I will hand to Jasmine to tell you more about it.
Thank you, Mia. Co-creation was an important part of our research, as it allowed for us to collaborate in a way that guided our design process through the sharing of ideas and the gathering of diverse insights. We performed 3 workshops with more than 30 people for this project. We explored new technology such as AR, VR, which you can see here on the slide. We uncovered new ways to visualize data and much more. This led to over 250 big ideas and informed our creative envisioning process. As we move from discovery to envisioning, the creative envisioning process requires thoughtful attention and takes some time. We spent over 350 hours on research and co-creation activities, which generated 264 big ideas that led to the creation of 24 unique storyboards, which you guys will see soon. These activities allowed for us to gain a deep understanding of museum goers, what they like, what they need, and what they want, along with their challenges. From this, we built a robust persona panel, in which Mia previously discussed, that informed our storyboards of the Astro-1 experience at the Smithsonian. A big thank you to Dr. Ruth West and her students for providing us with their big ideas and deeper insights, and not only one, but 2 workshops conducted. They contributed to over 6 hours of learning. This included learning a new platform, Mural, persona reviews, journey mapping, which can be seen here, uncovering themes, and generating big ideas. This co-creative collaboration contributed to our project in an impactful way. Next, Brittany will dive into our 3rd section, where we envision the Astro-1 exhibit experience through our storyboards. I'll hand it over to Brittany.
Thank you, Jasmine. Prior to ideating about potential exhibits, we needed to first understand the goals of NASA and the Smithsonian. Our research led us to highlight the following goals for NASA: discovery to expand human knowledge, exploration to extend our human presence, innovation to drive economic growth, and advancement to catalyze future mission success. Of the 8 overarching goals of the Smithsonian, we focused on the following 4: incorporating museum-related digital technologies, reaching the 21st century audience with technology, emphasizing the Smithsonian legacy by building customer relations, and creating a seamless visitor experience. Our goals for our project closely align with those of NASA and the Smithsonian. We aim to invoke discovery and innovation that details the history and impact of the Astro-1 mission, engage the senses during the museum experience through new and old technology, and spark visitor curiosity to understand the legacy of Astro-1. Using this information in conjunction with our research of our personas and museum experiences. As Jasmine mentioned, we brainstormed 264 big ideas for how to best represent the legacy of Astro-1. We refined, tested, and finalized these ideas into 13 hand-designed storyboards that we cannot wait to share with you. Our storyboards will make the invisible interesting, meaningful, delightful, immersive, and felt. Now let's go ahead and look at what we've created after a short 5-minute break. Right now the time is 7:10, so we will take a 5-minute break. We'll play a video for you to enjoy, and then we'll meet back at 7:15.
This might look familiar. The storyboards that we're about to present to you will take these 6 personas on a journey. Here's a second chance to identify which of these personas might be yours. I guess you may even be more than one. Now, you will remember that we segmented the museum visit experience into 3 phases: entry, exhibit, and exit. This squiggling line represents how people feel during their museum visit. At the bottom, you can see an unhappy face. At the top, it shows people are extremely happy. And in the middle, it shows people think it's an okay experience. When we take a look at the museum experience, we want to ensure that we're magnifying the peaks. We want to make the most enjoyable parts of the experiences. even more awesome. And we want the experience to end on a high note. This means we eliminate as many pinpoints as possible. When scenes end on a high note, people remember it more and tell their friends. And a memorable experience, according to Dr. Falk and others, that's just that. Here's an overview of the 13 storyboards we will show. Most of them focus on the main museum exhibit. We did a lot of user research, and what we present here are the feedback from real people. It's not just ideas based on our imagination. All of the storyboards you will see will make the invisible interesting, immersive, meaningful, felt, and delightful. I want to point out that our storyboards come in pairs. Firstly, we're going to show you a storyboard, like the one on the left. And then we're going to show you a second slide that provides additional considerations that help to explain the storyboard. Oh, by the way, Sami will post a PDF in the Zoom chat so that you can follow along with our storyboards. Are you ready to the storyboard journey? Here we go. Our first storyboard, Inside Out, deals with entering the museum. It's about a widescreen display outside the building, shows guests interacting inside the museum to pique their curiosity and interest. In first frame, a projection showcasing exhibits inside is displayed outside the museum. In the second frame, passersby stops and looks at how people inside interact with selected cool exhibits. In third frame, a smaller screen with animation and video previews other exhibits worth interacting in the museum, which aims to attract future museum goers. I will give you all a second to take a look at the storyboard. Here's a closer look into our storyboard. Remember the NASA and the Smithsonian goals that Brittany mentioned earlier, and the 6 personas that we created for us for the Astro-1 exhibit? This is where we tie them all together. Here at the bottom, you can see NASA's goals of innovation and discover, and Smithsonian goals of expand reach with technology are highlighted. And that's because on frame number 2, playing a trailer of what they may expect to see inside the museum on a widescreen display touch on those goals. When we look at personas, any persona you see in color, those are the ones that we call primary personas. In this scenario, they're independent explorers, experience seekers, enthusiastic learner. When we look at human senses, vision and auditory, which really are impacted here, these senses help people drive curiosity, also help people learning. Here are benefits that you may not thought of. For instance, generate interest for future visitors to visit the Smithsonian. More specifically, our idea can get attention from those potential visitors like thoughtful disruptor, which one can of our persona group. As for the additional consideration, that's how do we take this storyboard to the next level. With like use our idea to entertain museum guests while they wait in line to enter. Now we're gonna go on to the next storyboard. Let the adventure begin. Choose your adventure. It is an opportunity for you to choose your own adventure. This idea is about an immersive outer space experience that excites visitors as they enter the museum by feeling like a real astronaut in space. In frame 1, visitors choose one of 4 telescope interests to the museum. In frame 2, Visitors are immersed in a simulation of outer space to get a sneak peek of Astronaut-1. And in the last frame, visitors pause for an image as an astronaut as they make their way to the museum. Now we're going to go into the detailed view. This experience engages different personas. Now we have new purposeful rechargers and thoughtful disruptor. As for the human senses, we have people that they're maybe more interested in kinesthesia, which is really learning by doing. There are additional benefits here. You can read all of them. My favorite one is generate interest and excitement for the people who are arriving to the museum. Imagine how thoughtful disruptor can get the same level of interest as an independent explorer by experiencing this storyboard. And for additional consideration, we take this storyboard to the next level by considering that let guests take a photo with a real astronaut, etc. Now Gala will get us to explore the exhibit stage.
Thank you, Grace. Okay, now we begin with storyboards for the exhibit. First, we have A Tapestry of Discoveries, the legacy of Astro-1. First, in the first frame, the visitor will see a digital mural with blinking objects. As you can see, in the next circle, we can see the visitor touching that blinking button. In the second frame, we can see how the mural is uncovering the Astro-1 mission. In the last frame, after finishing all the touching points, the discoveries of Astro-1 will be revealed. I'll give you a second to look at the storyboard. This exhibit will explain how the Astro-1 mission was completed and how it impacts today's astronomy. This exhibition also ties to the 4 NASA goals: exploring, advancing, innovating, and discover. It will also be a great experience for visitors such as independent explorers because it will allow them to navigate and learn more quickly. These storyboards target human senses such as touch, vision, auditory, making it a sensory-friendly display which will allow a more inclusive experience. As for additional considerations, having this digital mural can open the opportunity to tell multiple NASA missions. Next, we have spectrum views. See the electromagnetic spectrum. As you can see in the first frame, we will have the visitors learn all about the electromagnetic spectrum. In the second frame, by moving a lever, visitors can observe different images in the wavelength that they select, such as UV light. In the last frame, the visitors can see objects in multiple wavelengths at the same time. With this exhibition, visitors can display common objects to see how everyday things look across the spectrum. This exhibition is intended especially for independent explorers, experience seekers, and enthusiast learners, due to the great amount of content and information about the electromagnetic spectrum. This focuses more in the human senses of vision and kinesthesia, because visitors control manually the exhibit while observing the different spectrums. This exhibition is perfect to spark curiosity in our visitors and make them feel like they have control and freedom. This exhibition is also suitable for solo visitors or groups. Next, we have Hold the Universe in Your Hands. First, in frame 1, visitors will be able to schedule a session upon arrival. In the second frame, visitors will enter a simulated payload bay to get a mission brief of Astro-1. Finally, visitors will wear haptic gloves to hold celestial objects. This exhibition is great for visitors looking for an interactive exhibit, such as experience seekers. It provides visitors to get to know all of the properties of celestial objects through many senses, such as thermosensation, touch, vision, and sound, making it a very complete exhibition. Now, for the benefits, one of the biggest benefits is that it's inclusive for impaired visitors because of all of the multisensory learning. but it's also a unique experience for all visitors to explore something that they don't get to do in every day. As for additional considerations, this exhibition provides a great opportunity for sponsorship, such as from glove brands. Next, we have all the things we cannot see, and interactive wall art. As we can see first, visitors can look through different telescope lenses. In the second frame, visitors can play along an interactive canvas to see their images in UV and X-ray light. And finally, in frame 3, visitors can view their UV images and purchase them at the gift shop. This exhibition can be a great opportunity for doubtful disruptors to interact with an exhibit where they can learn and create something completely unique and new that they haven't experienced before. This exhibition targets mainly the human senses of vision and kinesthesia. The benefits of this is that it's a multi-sensory activity for visitors to experience UV light, and they get to bring a piece of this home. In addition to considerations, this exhibition can provide a space with ramps to remove any mobility constraints so that everyone can enjoy this fun and interactive experience. Next, we have Path of the Telescopes. First, visitors will see 4 different tunnels for each telescope, where they can choose one to explore. In the second frame, as visitors go through the tunnel, they will learn all about this telescope through displays and activities. Finally, in the last frame, at the end of the tunnel, visitors will go to an immersive room to experience the heavens before and after Astro-1. By having the tunnels connecting to a single room, visitors can go back and choose a different telescope to keep exploring. This will do a seamless way experience. This is a great exhibition for explorers, learners, and purposeful recharges. The benefits of this exhibition is that it can accommodate multiple visitors and still have a constant flow without any waiting lines or any interruptions, which make it a very self-paced exhibition. So our visitors can discover and explore as fast or as calm as they prefer. As for additional considerations, the exhibit can provide sitting and resting areas in the tunnels or in the immersive room to make visitors recharge and keep exploring the other telescopes. Next, we'll have a video to show us more storyboards for the exhibit.
Thank you, Gala. Astro Escape. This experience has visitors perform an escape room-like activity. They dress up as astronauts and will complete a mission using replicas of telescopes from Astro-1. In frame 1, visitors will suit up and are briefed on their mission. In frame 2, visitors engage with telescopes to begin their mission. In frame 3, successful teams will receive a prize and they share the results on social media. So not only will visitors complete tasks in the escape room, the room will have multi-sensory interactions as visitors complete or fail tasks throughout the activity. These interactions will be sound, light, vibrations, mist to provide visitors with an experience that goes beyond just seeing and hearing like in most museums. Next, we have Astro-1 VR Experience. This exhibit allows visitors to experience Astro-1 from the perspective of an astronaut, either in the museum or in the comfort of their own home. In frame 1, a visitor rents the VR goggles or purchases the game. In frame 2, they select the telescope and begin a virtual journey through the discoveries of Astro-1. In frame 3, the visitor enjoyed the experience so much, they purchase a game to download on their own VR device. Astro-1 VR is a new type of experience because it has the added benefit of allowing visitors to take the experience from the museum and into their own homes. This exhibit can be experienced before, during, or after the exhibit. Also, in addition to an Astro-1 experience, the VR goggles can provide several different museum experiences, each with the benefit of allowing visitors to take the exhibit with them. This personalized and compact experience can spark curiosity in visitors looking for solo activities or for those excited to try new things, which will save the museum money by avoiding large, expensive displays. Next is Anti-Gravity Capsule. This storyboard imagines museum visitors going to an exhibit where they can safely experience the simulated effect of being in zero gravity. In frame 1, visitors are learning how to safely prepare for the exhibit. In frame 2, visitors enter the capsule and they experience the effects of zero gravity while seeing a 360-degree display of Astro-1's discoveries. In frame 3, upon exiting, the visitors purchase a picture of themselves in the capsule. The capsule contains advanced electromagnetic technology that interacts with special material layered throughout the suit, which causes the wearer of the suit to levitate, thus creating the feeling of weightlessness. This unique experience will be completely exclusive to the Smithsonian, driving worldwide attention and will drastically boost attendance in the museum. This activity will be great for groups, experience seekers, and accessible to visitors with mobility constraints. The cost of this exhibit pales in comparison to the benefits it could offer the museum. Next is Astro-1 Docking Station. This exhibit is a dark and peaceful, quiet space where any visitor can go to have a short break while learning about Astro-1. In frame 1, visitors follow a pathway that leads to Astro-1 Docking Station. In frame 2, a visitor relaxes on a chair watching the discoveries of Astro-1 while listening to calm music and eating. In frame 3, visitors leave the docking station recharged and ready to see more of the museum. This exhibit targets the needs of museum goers who desire rest or calmness as they engage in a museum space. Several often neglected visitors will benefit from this exhibit, such as the elderly, visitors with cognitive constraints, or doubtful disruptors. But that's not it. This calm-inducing exhibit can be extended beyond a single space by providing sensory backpacks containing sound-reducing headphones and sunglasses. Also, as visitors recharge, the room will be supplied with brochures and maps, which will help guide visitors to other exhibits in the Smithsonian. Plus, it'll be a great space for them to charge their phones as well. Next, Jill will take you through our exit storyboards.
Thanks, Subidi.
Okay, so for the last part of our museum journey, let's go through the exit experiences that we develop in an effort to truly make this journey memorable, even to the last minute as the visitors leave. First, we have the Borderless Exit. Wearing the collectible Astro-1 socks as seen in the first frame, visitors make their way out following the astronaut's footprints through a dark hallway that comes to life, filled with celestial discoveries from the Astro-1 mission. Visitors navigate through the Galaxy Light Show by sensing the walls, triggering the lighted footprints, and following the dancing lights and sounds that illuminated by the Borderless Exit. In the third frame, you can see some guests watching their friends and families go through the dark hallway through a night vision streaming right outside that experience. This is a stage that the experience seekers, the motivated facilitators, and even the doubtful disruptors would really enjoy. We want to maximize the museum's technology to excite and spark curiosity as they end their visit and take home a piece of Astro-1 experience with them. Lastly, we present to you the Smithsonian time travel, where we get to experience the remote past, be in the present, and see the near future. Imagine ending your Astro-1 experience through time travel. Let's look at the first frame. After going through the phenomenal legacy of Astro-1 mission, visitors go through this Leonid tunnel to begin the visit to the future. Following this first scene, in the second frame, we see a family walking through an interactive outdoor exhibit promoting the Futures. The Futures is a distinguished Smithsonian exhibit featuring 32,000 square feet of immersive artifacts of the future, taking you on a 50-year trip
forward. Who would want to miss that? The Art and Industries building of the Smithsonian is shown in the third frame, where the family would continue yet another remarkable journey. Ultimately, we want to reuse this exit journey to understand what we know of the past and connect it to the future. Through an experience so ingeniously designed to create curiosity and aspire our learners to remember that this is the Astro legacy and aspire for all possible discoveries yet to be known. Out of more than 200 co-created ideas, these top 13 storyboards were handpicked after 3 workshops and research with designers, engineers, information and computer science students, graduate students, taking account feedback given by a wide variety of sample population of museum visitors. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the stories of the future. Now back to Jasmine to tell us what happens next.
Thank you, Jill. How cool were those storyboards? As we focus on the future vision, first we look to review by obtaining feedback on the current storyboards and then refining them based on received responses. Second, we'll identify and understand the level of commitment with our stakeholders. And lastly, we'll establish the research and development teams who will likely work on the exhibit. Let me introduce you to all 12 of the masters behind the Astro-1 project, making the invisible visible. Rocio Diaz, who is not here with us today, but she is sorely missed. Gel Inocencio, Gala Ramos, Esther Streich, Obidi Ekugo, Mia Lin, Kel Ruiz, Sami Wali, Hira Hassan, Chris Ma, Brittany Shirley, and of course me, Jasmine Yerby. We have provided you with a robust array of our research, workshop insights, and personas located under the exclusive section in our presentation. You should have a copy of that PDF version in the Zoom link or the Zoom chat. Feel free to reach out and connect with us and learn more about our diverse backgrounds. A special thank you to our mentors, Professor Cassini Nazir and Professor Brian Sullivan, for guiding us, motivating us, and inspiring us to think beyond the senses and create memorable experience for NASA, the Smithsonian, and their visitors. A thank you to our co-creation partners, Dr. Ruth West, Ian, Michael, Marcelo, Mimi, Catherine, Ija, Jennifer, and Natalie. Another thank you to all of you in attendance today. We hope you all enjoy the journey of making the invisible visible. I will open it up to the floor for questions in which Brittany will come up and read those from us from the Zoom chat.